What would you do if you returned home to find your legacy being sold to the highest bidder by someone you trusted? For me, Caleb Whitaker, that question wasn't hypothetical. It was the gut-wrenching reality I faced when I stepped off the dusty bus in Red Hollow, Montana, after 6 months overseas. The sun hung low, casting a golden glow over the sprawling acres of Whitaker Ranch, my family's heart and soul for 3 generations. I'd been in Afghanistan, serving as a contractor, teaching locals how to rebuild their war-torn farms. But nothing prepared me for the war waiting at home. The air smelled of sagebrush and betrayal as I hitched my duffel bag over my shoulder and trudged toward the ranch. My boots crunched on the gravel road, each step heavier with the weight of exhaustion and longing. I hadn't told anyone I was coming back early, not my sister, not my friends, not even Karen, my fiancée. I wanted to surprise her, to see her hazel eyes light up, to feel her arms around me after months of letters and grainy video calls. But as I crested the hill, I froze. A crowd gathered in front of the old barn, their voices buzzing like angry hornets. A sign staked into the ground read, "Auction today, Whitaker Ranch." My heart plummeted. This was my land one, 200 acres of rolling hills, grazing cattle, and the cedar-lined creek where my father taught me to fish. My grandfather built the ranch house with his bare hands, and my mother's laughter still echoed in its walls. How could it be up for auction? I scanned the crowd, searching for answers, and there she was, Karen, standing on a makeshift platform, her blonde hair catching the sunlight as she waved a gavel like a queen presiding over a conquest. "Ladies and gentlemen," she called, her voice sharp and confident. "We're starting the bidding at $1.2 million. This is prime Montana land, perfect for development or a private retreat." The crowd murmured, hands shooting up with bids. My blood boiled. Karen wasn't just selling my ranch, she was selling my life, my memories, my future. I dropped my bag and pushed through the crowd, my pulse pounding in my ears. "Karen!" I shouted, my voice cutting through the chatter. Heads turned, and a gasp rippled through the crowd. Karen's face went white, the gavel slipping from her hand and clattering to the platform. For a moment, time stopped. Her eyes locked onto mine, wide with panic, like a deer caught in a hunter's sights. "Caleb?" she whispered, her voice trembling. You're not supposed to be here." "Not supposed to be here?" I roared, climbing onto the platform. "This is my home. What the hell are you doing?" The crowd fell silent, their eyes darting between us. Karen stumbled back, her hands fumbling for words that wouldn't come. I turned to the bidders, strangers in pressed suits and cowboy hats, and bellowed, "This auction is over. Get off my land." Murmurs turned to protests, but I didn't care. I grabbed Karen's arm, pulling her toward the barn. "Explain," I demanded, my voice low and dangerous. She yanked her arm free, her composure cracking like thin ice. "Caleb, I had no choice," she stammered. "The ranch was failing. You were gone, and the bank was going to foreclose. I was saving us." "Saving us?" I laughed bitterly. "By selling my family's legacy behind my back?" Her eyes glistened with tears, but I wasn't buying it. Karen had always been ambitious, pushing me to sell parcels of land for quick cash, to modernize. I'd resisted, believing she loved the ranch as much as I did. Clearly, I was wrong. Before she could answer, a new voice cut through the tension. "Caleb, wait." I turned to see Marcus, my old high school friend, stepping forward from the crowd. His weathered face and flannel shirt were a stark contrast to the slick developers around him. Marcus had been my rock growing up, the one who helped me mend fences and bury my father when cancer took him. But now his eyes held a guilt I didn't understand. "There's something you need to know," he said, his voice heavy. Karen shot him a desperate look, but Marcus ignored her. "It wasn't just Karen," he said. "I helped her. The ranch was in debt hundreds of thousands. Your dad hid it from you, and after he passed, the bills piled up. Karen came to me 6 months ago, said she had a plan to save the place by selling it to a developer who'd lease it back to you. I thought it was the only way." The words hit like a sledgehammer. Marcus, my brother in all but blood, had betrayed me too. I staggered back, the barn's rough wood catching my palm as I steadied myself. You both went behind my back? I asked, my voice breaking. Marcus nodded, unable to meet my eyes. Karen reached for me, but I stepped away. Caleb, please, she begged. I love you. I was doing this for us, for our future. Love, I spat. You don't sell someone's soul and call it love. The crowd was dispersing now, sensing the drama was more than they'd bargained for. I turned to Marcus. And you, how could you let this happen? He opened his mouth, but no words came. The silence was deafening. I stormed into the ranch house, the familiar creak of the floorboards grounding me in a world that felt like it was crumbling. Papers littered the kitchen table, bank notices, foreclosure warnings, and a contract with Karen's signature. She'd been planning this for months, maybe longer. My absence had given her the perfect opportunity. I sank into a chair, my head in my hands, as the weight of it all crushed me. But then, another twist came, quieter but no less shattering. Tucked among the papers was a letter, handwritten, in my father's shaky scrawl. It was dated a year before his death, addressed to me. My hands trembled as I read it. He confessed to borrowing against the ranch to pay for my mother's medical bills, to keep the family afloat. I didn't want you to carry this burden, Caleb, he wrote. I thought I could fix it before you had to know. Forgive me. Tears blurred my vision. My father's secret had set this disaster in motion, and Karen had exploited it. She followed me inside, her voice soft now, pleading. Caleb, I didn't want to hurt you. I thought if I sold the ranch we could start over, build something new. I was scared you'd hate me if you knew the truth. I looked at her, the woman I'd planned to marry, and saw a stranger. You didn't trust me enough to tell me, I said. That's not love, Karen. That's control. Marcus appeared at the door, his hat in his hands. I'm sorry, Caleb, he said. I thought I was helping. I'll do whatever it takes to make this right. But some things can't be fixed. The ranch was still mine for now, but the trust was gone. I sent them both away, needing space to breathe, to think. Days turned into weeks as I fought to save the ranch. I sold equipment, took out loans, and worked until my hands bled. But the numbers didn't lie. The debt was too deep, the interest too steep. The bank gave me a month before they'd foreclose. I walked the land every evening, memorizing the curve of the hills, the whisper of the creek, knowing I was losing it all. On the final day, I stood on the porch as the sun set, painting the sky in shades of fire and ash. Karen came by one last time, her eyes red from crying. I'm sorry, she whispered. I thought I was saving us. I didn't answer. There was nothing left to say. She drove away, and I watched the dust settle, feeling the weight of an ending I couldn't stop. The ranch was auctioned off a week later. I wasn't there to see it. I'd packed a single bag and left for Wyoming, chasing a job lead on another man's land. The Whitaker Ranch was gone, and with it, the man I used to be. I trusted too much, loved too blindly, and paid the price. Some battles you lose before you even know you're fighting. Nd.